First, let's start with this case. My boyfriend, 26 male, and I, 23 male, have been dating for a little over 8 months. In early November, it was my birthday, and I was excited because it was the first time we'd be celebrating one of our birthdays together. He had been teasing a surprise all through October, so I was looking forward to seeing what he had planned. For context, I have a very strained relationship with my parents. They've been out of my life for the past 2 years, and my boyfriend is fully aware of the reasons why. We've had long conversations about this. Because of this, for the last few years, I've celebrated my birthday with my best friend, whom I consider my family. On my birthday, my boyfriend let it slip that the surprise was a family dinner. Naturally, I assumed he meant my sister and her husband, along with my best friend and her partner. I was wrong. The surprise he had planned was flying my parents in from another city. When I arrived and realized what was happening, I was completely taken aback. I didn't understand why he thought bringing my estranged parents would be a good idea, especially since he knows the history. I might have overreacted, but I don't think I even stayed for more than 30 minutes before walking out of the restaurant and driving home. I couldn't sit there listening to my parents belittle me, while my boyfriend seemed oblivious to how uncomfortable I was. The next day, my boyfriend came over, and I thought we were going to talk about what happened. I expected an apology or at least some acknowledgement that he had overstepped. Instead, he was angry at me for ruining the surprise he had spent so much time planning. He said he only wanted to give me a chance to have a normal relationship with my parents. I tried explaining why his actions hurt me, but he wasn't receptive. He doubled down, saying that as my boyfriend, he had a right to want to know my parents. I can understand that his intentions might have been good, but the way he went about it feels incredibly thoughtless. I still think he owes me an apology, but I'm wondering if I overreacted by walking out and ruining his surprise. Am I wrong for how I handled this? Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. Your boyfriend and your parents are. The only people that ruined anything were your parents and your boyfriend. Instead of making up with you, your parents continue their bad behavior. Instead of standing up for you, your boyfriend allows their bad behavior. Your boyfriend does not have a right to know your parents when you removed them from your life. Then instead of seeing what bad people they are, your boyfriend thinks you still need to have a normal relationship with them. You deserve a man, not a bratty little boy who thinks you did anything wrong. Give yourself an early Christmas present and dump him. Oh my gosh, you're not in the wrong. Your boyfriend, however, I suspect this isn't the first time he's disrespected you. He has no right to know your parents, your siblings, your friends, your bank balance, or even your favorite color. Does he always make everything about him? You're not in the wrong. This boy, not even a man, reeks of some sort of savior complex or something where he feels the need to step in and do what's right for you instead of respecting your wishes. It's just feeding his own ego and the fantasy in his head. This will be something he will always do. I don't like saying dump him, but dump him, even if he does try to apologize. You can do so much better, and you deserve so much better. First of all, I want to apologize for not responding to any comments on my original post. I was overwhelmed by how much attention it received, and I didn't know how to handle hundreds of people telling me I should break up with my boyfriend. Well, we did break up. I wish I could say I confronted him with all the comments and their carefully constructed arguments, but the truth is, I'm terrified of conflict. So, it's probably not the dramatic update many people were hoping for. After the birthday surprise ambush, we technically made up the next day. I posted about the situation because I felt unsettled with how we resolved things. Now I realize that nothing was truly resolved. He made me apologize without giving me the space to express my anger or feelings about what happened. I thought I could wait a bit and have him come over to my place the following week, so I could figure out a natural way to bring up the issue. I wanted to approach it calmly and have a productive conversation so we could move forward. But yesterday, after we had lunch together and I was driving him back to his place, I ended up bringing it up. I hadn't planned to, it just came out because I didn't know how to hide the lingering anger I was feeling. I asked him why he had orchestrated the birthday ambush, doing my best not to sound confrontational. His response? I wanted to get to know the people that raised you. That answer hit me hard because it felt like complete nonsense. The biggest reason is that I've repeatedly told him my older sister is the person who essentially raised me. When he met her and her husband, we even joked about how it was like meeting my parents. I told him he had every right to want to meet whoever he wanted, but he had absolutely no right to go behind my back and force me into a situation with people I had deliberately cut out of my life. What he said next was the breaking point. He said, I don't understand how someone can stop talking to their family. That crushed me because I've explained to him so many times why I stopped talking to my parents. He's asked about it more than once, and I've been open with him every time. In that moment, I realized something important. He doesn't understand me, and he hasn't made any real effort to try. So, I told him that after I dropped him off, I didn't want to see him again. I explained that I couldn't keep putting effort into a relationship with someone who doesn't care about what I want or need. He didn't take it well, but his feelings are no longer my responsibility. Right now, I mostly feel sad. Breakups suck, even when you know they're the right choice. I did love him, and letting go of that is hard. But I know I'll be okay, and I'm grateful for all the support and encouragement I received. Thank you for helping me see that I deserve someone who respects and understands me. Next up, I, 27, female, live with my boyfriend, 26, male, and our cat in a small 2-bedroom apartment, which is only about a 10-minute drive from my parents' house. Recently, we went out of town and my mom, 65, female, offered to check in on our cat. Our cat has an automatic feeder and doesn't actually need anyone to come by, but I agreed because I worry she'll get bored while we're away. When we returned, we noticed that my mom had cleaned the apartment and there was a strange fishy smell. After investigating, we realized she had decided to wash out the litter box in the spare bathroom tub, a bathroom we rarely use. The smell was coming from the pipes. This isn't the first time something like this has happened. In the past, she's gone as far as putting away our clothes, vacuuming, and even making the bed. While I know she thinks she's being helpful, I find this a massive invasion of privacy. I've repeatedly told her not to clean our apartment or go through our things, but she doesn't listen. To make matters worse, my mom has always had a habit of snooping, whether it's going through my purse, my car, or sharing my personal business with others. I'm an adult now, and it's exhausting to deal with her overbearing tendencies. After this latest incident, my boyfriend and I decided that she is no longer welcome in our apartment, which means we'll no longer accept her help with the cat. When we told her, she brushed it off, saying she was just being helpful, and rolling her eyes about being punished for being kind. She doesn't seem to understand why this bothers me so much, and I feel at my wit's end. I understand that her intentions come from a place of love, but I'm furious. I feel like this is a boundary I need to set firmly, even if it causes friction. To be clear, our apartment isn't dirty. We keep it tidy, with the only mess being an unmade bed or the occasional laundry chair where clean clothes pile up before they're put away. Am I wrong for banning her from our home? Is this boundary too harsh? Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. She is disrespecting your privacy. Not just snooping, but telling others. Snooping would be bad enough, but that is just wow. Even if she means well, she is doing it wrong. I mean, she could stumble upon very private strings, especially in your bedroom. And the fact that it smelled fishy. Are we talking about suspicious fishy or fish fishy? Because the latter would be disgusting. Like, how did she cause bad smell by cleaning? You're not in the wrong. My ex-boyfriend's mom used to come in over to take care of the cat. We would return to find the lube we left in the bedside table neatly organized on top of said table. It was a horrible show of power, and he never said a word to her. You need to set all of the boundaries. You're not in the wrong. If you have asked her to stop and she keeps on doing it, then she is not doing it to help you. She is doing it to help herself. It fulfills some kind of need in her. The whole trying to be helpful is just an attempt by her to make you feel guilty for setting up reasonable boundaries. But let me make one thing clear. She is not coming from a place of love. She is doing this because she gets something out of it, not because she wants to help you. If she were truly trying to help, she would take no as an answer. Next up, my younger sister, who is 30 years old, has been dealing with unsettling behavior from my brother-in-law, a 35-year-old man who is married to our other sister, who is also 35. He has been a part of our family for a long time, but his actions, especially recently, have raised serious concerns. When he visits, he often stares at my younger sister in a way that feels disrespectful and inappropriate. He frequently positions himself close to her, occasionally brushing against her back as though by accident. These were the behaviors I had observed over the years, but his actions have become increasingly concerning over time. Eventually, I discussed it with my younger sister. She was shocked to learn that I had noticed, as she thought she was the only one who felt this way. She admitted that his behavior made her extremely uncomfortable, but she tried to maintain peace because of the children involved. She shared that she has always felt uneasy around him, as she has known him for years. His behavior has escalated recently. He now often approaches her from behind and gives her unsolicited massages on her neck, forcing her to awkwardly move away. He repeatedly asks her to massage him or scratch his back, and when she refuses, he guilt-trips her, saying things like she used to do it but doesn't anymore. His comments about her clothing and his inappropriate attention when she is in a swimsuit are also deeply troubling. On one occasion, while drinking, he inappropriately touched her by jiggling her backside with his fist and squeezing her upper thighs with both hands. He has even brought up private details about his intimate life with her and made inappropriate offers, such as suggesting he clean dirt off her when she was sitting in the grass. The situation has become so distressing that I have warned multiple family members to be vigilant and protect her. I fear that if confronted, he might deny his actions, blame her, or attempt to manipulate the situation. My parents are aware of the issue, but feel unsure about how to address it effectively. Am I wrong for getting this involved? I genuinely don't know what more I can do, but I am determined to ensure my sister is safe and respected. She should not have to endure this harassment. Let's start judging. There is a very slight chance that confronting him in a serious manner would make him realize how close he is to screwing his life up, and make him change his ways. Very slight. It is more likely that he would just try to be sneakier in the ways he goes about this behavior. It is much more likely that he stops with you guys, but will move on to an easier target. In no way are you the idiot here. Dude absolutely needs to be handled. It's called sexual harassment. Please record every time he does this. Tell your parents to confront him, then tell your sister. And if she doesn't do anything, you probably need to go to the police. Every time he acts inappropriately, make it obvious to everyone. Beal, stop groping me. Beal, stop talking to me about your sex life. Beal, stop ogling me. It makes you look like a perv. He won't want others to be aware of his actions, so make everyone aware. The more people who know and have witnessed his behavior will be more inclined to call him out too. With any luck, he'll be too scared to act inappropriate again. Next up, 4 years ago, I, a 31-year-old woman, moved to my husband's, 31-year-old man, country. None of my family lives here, but his family is nearby. I have a good relationship with my mother-in-law and father-in-law, and my interactions with my husband's siblings, a 29-year-old sister and a 25-year-old brother, are usually positive. A few weeks ago, I turned 31. Last year, my brother-in-law used my birthday gathering to plan his own birthday party. To avoid a repeat, I decided to keep things simple this year. I didn't want to spend money on a party or have the focus shift away from the occasion. We chose to celebrate at my in-laws' house since it had more space and invited my husband's siblings and their partners. They arrived late, around 4:30 p.m., which is common for them, so it didn't bother me. Living in a foreign country where English isn't the main language can be challenging. While I understand and speak the local language to a degree, keeping up with multiple fast-paced conversations is difficult, especially in social settings. That evening, everyone spoke exclusively in the local language. I eventually felt disconnected and overstimulated, so I started scrolling on my phone to pass the time. The situation became awkward when my sister-in-law asked if she could share her vacation pictures with everyone. In their family, it's common to show photos at gatherings, but her asking for my permission in front of everyone put me on the spot. I felt obligated to agree, even though I found it inappropriate to do so during someone else's birthday celebration. Feeling frustrated, I excused myself briefly to get coffee. When I returned, my brother-in-law and his girlfriend asked to see our wedding photos, which they hadn't seen yet. My sister-in-law seemed visibly disappointed and went to the kitchen with my mother-in-law, where they had a loud conversation that we could all overhear. After dinner, my sister-in-law insisted on showing her vacation photos. She and her husband spent an hour going through the pictures, explaining each one in detail. Again, this was all in the local language, and I struggled to follow. My husband noticed I was on my phone and told me to put it away, which only added to my frustration. The last picture they shared was a sonogram, announcing their pregnancy. While I was happy for them, I couldn't help but feel hurt that they chose this moment to share their news. There were plenty of other opportunities before or after my birthday to make the announcement. I smiled, congratulated them, and excused myself to the bathroom. We left shortly afterward, and my husband and I argued about it later. He explained that in his culture, announcing major life milestones during someone else's celebration is normal, but in my culture it feels inappropriate. An hour after we left, my sister-in-law sent me a message justifying their timing and laughing off the situation. I replied, telling her I was happy for them but hurt by how they handled it. She responded by saying they were upset by my reaction and claimed I had cast a dark shadow over their announcement. She did not apologize, but continued defending her actions and blamed me for how things unfolded. Am I wrong for not forgiving her and moving on? I feel like my feelings were dismissed, and instead of acknowledging how her actions affected me, she turned the situation around and made it about how I upset them. Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. Both parties have a responsibility to research and respect cultures and customs. From what you've told us, it sounds like you've done a great job of respecting their customs, even when it is uncomfortable. Where is return of that energy? Why don't they bother to care about your customs at your celebration? It would be one thing if it were your BL's party, but it was your party. And you didn't ask for much. I'm Dutch, and it is definitely not common considered respectful to announce major happenings during other people's parties. Although perhaps not everyone would consider a low-key, family-only birthday a celebration that they shouldn't hijack. Everyone sucks. They're being rude in not being sure that you're included and engaged in their family discussions. But you are in their country, so it's natural for them to speak their language and follow their customs. And to a large degree, it's on you to adapt and make more effort. Playing on your phone at a party for you is rude too. Sounds like you and Sil are both being dramatic.